Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today is the day that I'm going to marzipan the Christmas cake. So this is the second part of my Christmas cake video for 2016, and we're going to put the marzipan on ready for the royal icing to go on in part 3. So to do that, what I've done is I've turned my cake upside down on this turntable. You could put it on a cake board. I'm going to do that right at the end of the video as I'm preparing it for a presentation at Christmas. Now, but I want it on this turntable because it's going to be slightly easier to use. The first thing you have to do is to cover the cake with a thin layer of apricot jam. Now I've taken actually about 3 tablespoons of apricot jam and a tablespoon of water, and I've heated that up and brought it to the boil, and that's rather more than I need, I think. But what I'm doing is I'm going to completely coat the cake with the apricot jam. This is going to allow the marzipan to stick to the cake. So you brush all over the top and the side. Okay, so once you've coated the cake with apricot jam, the next thing you can do, if you want to, if you've turned it upside down like I have, is just to take a little bit of marzipan. Now I've got 500 grams of marzipan here. Really you need about 400 grams to cover the cake, but the pack was 500 grams. And I'm going to take a little bit of that off, like that. And I'm going to roll that into a little sausages. And I'm going to plug the gaps of the cake with marzipan underneath, and the reason for this is to give me a nice flat surface later on when I'm putting the marzipan layer onto the sides of the cake. Okay, so with the gap at the bottom filled as necessary, I'm going to move the cake to one side, and then I'm going to take some icing sugar, confectioner's sugar, and sprinkle it onto my surface. And then I'm going to knead the remainder of the marzipan. I'm going to knead that for about 30 seconds, and that's to loosen it up so that it's easy to roll out. If you don't do that, when you're rolling it, it will crack rather too much. You don't want to use too much icing sugar if you can avoid it, but just enough so that it doesn't stick to your rolling surface. So I think that's pliable enough. So then what I want to do is to form that into a disc and flatten it into a roundish shape like that. And then we're going to roll it out until it's about 3 to 4 centimeters thick. Roll from the center outwards and keep turning. Okay, well, I'm back with you, and as you may have gathered if you were watching the video, I had a few problems with the recording. One of the cameras, or the monitor, stopped working, and in the process of trying to fix that, I forgot to press the record button to record some of what I was doing. So what I've done is I've left in a little bit of footage so you can see that what I did was to roll out the marzipan and then lift it up on a rolling pin and put it over the top and then level it off, being very careful not to crease the sides. Then I trimmed all the way around the edge, and that's what it looks like now. Now actually, once I did that, I then decided that I didn't think the marzipan was thick enough, so I rolled out another layer of marzipan, and I brushed more apricot jam over the first layer and put the second layer on. So I now have about 6 to 7 millimeters of marzipan. I said centimeters earlier, and you most certainly wouldn't want 6 centimeters of marzipan in a cake. That would be 3 inches, I think. So I have about 6 to 7 millimeters of marzipan, which is ample, and what I'm going to do is to cover this now with a couple of clean tea towels and let it sit for at least a day, maybe 2 days, but at least a day, so that the marzipan can set a little bit firmer and dry out a little bit, and then it will be ready for the royal icing. So I'll be back with you to do a video on that very shortly. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed this mishmash of a video, please give me the thumbs up and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can check the recipe by clicking the eye in the top right hand corner of the screen, or clicking the link below the video here. And I will, as I say, be back with you to do the royal icing in a couple of days. So until then, happy baking.